Hello you fantastic people and welcome back to Borderlands 3. Hope you guys are all doing well. In this video we're going to go over the 100 farms of Warden, the loot you guys can expect, the dedicated drops and the dedicated drop rates as well. I'll give you guys a quick look at both weapons as well and where they stand in Mayhem 10. This is currently level 60, but I know there is a new level cap, which is dope by the way, coming out on the 10th of September, which is just under 2 weeks away. So don't stress if you're watching this later on, or if you're stressed about watching this now and the stats will be different in a few weeks or whatever. Don't stress, all dedicated drop rates are exactly the same as we go through the levels. It is just changed as they physically increase dedicated drop rates. So don't stress, it'll be the exact same. But yeah, like I said, this one is for Warden, so if you guys want to farm them, if you're new to the game and can't remember where Warden is, first go to Eden 6, and then down to the Anvil. It is kind of annoying to run through there. If you go on Mayhem 10, it takes a hot minute to run all the way from this fast travel station, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down into this area just here. Plus, all the enemies there, it's kind of like running a takedown, honestly, running through the Anvil. So definitely take a solo build, or maybe turn it down the Mayhem level and run it, and do it whichever way you guys want. But it is kind of a pain to run through. Once you get through there, though, there's a new station that's super close to the boss farm. You can just jump down into the hole and only deal with Warden. Makes it way easier. Now, this guy, as a boss farm, actually not too bad. He does have 3 immunity stages, which are kind of annoying and definitely unavoidable, regardless of the amount of damage you do. It has like 3 corrosive or armored health bars, and then once you get through those, there's just 1 long red health bar. So corrosive weapons first and then fire weapons second if you guys want to be most efficient. The immunity stages, they're not too long. He just has to like upgrade himself, put a weird helmet on and pull out extra weapons. But the boss farm, it's not too difficult. He does a ton of splash damage, so if you flak, you at least have to be dodging those shots and not get practically one-shot sometimes. But other than that, he's not too difficult to take down. His health isn't that strong, and he doesn't fly away like Tyrene, so that's way easier. Now, this guy used to have 4 dedicated drops, including the Freeman rocket launcher. That's been in there since the very start of the game, even before regular dedicated drops came in. The Plague Bearer from Mayhem 6 Plus, I believe he had the Boomsicle, and I think the Damned Assault Rifle, not 100% sure on that one, but it was at least 4 dedicated drops, and that was actually being spread down to 2, which is awesome. Since about a month or so ago, the spreading of the loot pools happened, and now most, in huge quotation marks, most have 2 dedicated drops, Warden being one of them, which is great, which makes it so much easier to farm. The 2 remaining being the Freeman rocket launcher and the Plague Bearer from Mayhem 6 up. And that's really, really good because it makes it way easier to get the particular dedicated drops you want, because not only has it been reduced to 2, the dedicated drop rate went up. The anointments in the game, the trashy ones, got taken out, or at least 21 of them, which makes it so much easier to get the anointments, the elemental tap, the highest damage versions weapons you want in this game. And the Plague Bearer is easily at least top 2, I'd say maybe even the best rocket launcher in this game, particularly if you're playing as Moze. I'll have some clips showing on screen of just farming Warden a few times so you can see what the boss fight is like if you haven't farmed Warden before, or at least in a while, while we go through these stats for you guys for the dedicated drops as well as the world drops. And then after that, I'll show you guys where the Plague Bearer and the Freeman rocket launcher are sitting at with the damage and a bit of gameplay in a second as well. But starting off with, like I said, 100 farms, Mayhem 10, level 60. Again, don't stress, it's the same drop rate at level 65 as well. We actually use Moze for this one as well, a bit different rather than using Flak for pretty much all of my videos. As for world drops, we've got 320 legendary world drops, which is pretty solid. That's not including any dedicated drops, by the way. We take out all of those numbers for you guys. So just world drops, 320. So on average, 3.2, or just practically 3 world drops per run, which is pretty solid. He's not a super long boss farm. I'd say probably about 45 seconds. Not that I've actually tested it, but you'll be able to see on screen how long it actually takes. So that's actually not too bad. I think the highest we've had is around about 5 dedicated drops per run on average, and I'm pretty sure that's Tyrene. So that's an end boss, like the very end of the game boss, and is super annoying to take down. It sometimes takes a whole lot longer unless you've got a tanky build. As for the dedicated drops, the Freeman rocket launcher actually dropped the most out of the 2, with 18 drops out of 100 runs, which doesn't surprise me. It is typically the weaker one. It's the original dedicated drop, and the Plague Bearer is a Mayhem 6 Plus, and is very highly sought after. And that's usually the way it goes. The more popular weapons that don't drop as much. The Plague Bearer dropped 13 times out of 100 runs, which is still pretty solid. It's over 10% drop rate, it's 13% drop rate. And also, like I said, with 21 of the trashy anointments being taken out of the game, it's going to be way easier for you guys to get some really good Plague Bearers. I actually, in this 100 farms, I don't usually get that many good rolls, but I actually think I got like 3 or 4 solid or actual god rolls that I use now on either my flak or my Mo's build. But yeah, if you guys are interested in getting either of these weapons, I'll show you guys some clips on screen of the gameplay, as well as we go through the ones that I picked up so you can see the different stats you can get, elemental types, etc. Starting off with the Freeman. Now this one I think super easy to run through. Pretty sure the stats are stacked exactly the same every single time. Please correct me if I'm wrong though, but I'm pretty sure I didn't notice a singular one being different in damage-wise, mag size, fire rate, or reload speed, or accuracy. I think they're all exactly the same. I can definitely guarantee you they're only non-elemental, I know that one for sure. If you guys are going for a good anoint, depending on who you're playing with, I've been using this thing with Mo's, and it's actually pretty solid. Originally, and since pretty much the start of the game, I haven't been interested in this rocket launcher whatsoever. Its gimmick is essentially a single pellet rocket, and wherever you're aiming, it tracks. So as you shoot and then move your cursor, it will move in the air. It does some crazy stuff. So the idea of it was pretty cool. It just never really did that much damage. And I think recently with some buffs, it's actually gotten pretty solid, at least with Mo's. That might be just because she does so much ridiculous amounts of splash damage that it does alright. But also the fire rate is pretty solid for a rocket launch. You can just keep spamming it, and it takes out pretty decently bosses and mobs as well. I'm not going to say it's the best rocket launch or anything like that, but I'd say it's worth checking out and messing around with if you want to. Now, as for a contender for the best rocket launcher in the game, the Plague Bearer has got to be at least top 2. I'd say it's probably my favorite rocket launcher in the game. This thing's mobbing potential and just room clearing is amazing. If you haven't seen it already, I'll have some clips on screen as we go through. It is amazing. Melee 1 takedown the bridge is just a walk in the park. With Mo's and or Flak, I've used both of them and it works fantastic. I haven't heard any complaints that it's not good on any character. Let me know if you're Zane or Amara mains. But as for some rolls, I think generally they're around about 40k. I think the highest one we have here is at 42k. I also have one in my backpack. We'll double check. There you go. So yeah, around about 40k is the average. The highest one we managed to get 42. As for anointments, if you're playing as Mo's, I'd say it's the main one people use rocket launchers for. Go for some action skill, and splash damage is really good. Next to mags is probably even better. You're getting an extra 100% whatever elemental bonus you want for next to magazines. And as Mo's, you don't really reload, so that's a really good one to have for a long time, whereas the action skill and splash will run out unless you're jumping in and out of Iron Bear regularly. If you're Flak, I'd say doing the 200% splash is a way better option because you can constantly refresh your action skill if you're doing Fade Away or Rack Attack. Of course, if you're Gamma Burst, go Gamma Burst or the URAD Anoint. Either of those will absolutely rock. But yeah, as for fire rate, it's not that quick. It's super slow on the charge speed, unfortunately. It's kind of like a melee 1 Torg weapon, which is super weird. It has, I don't know how many seconds, but it's got to be at least like 2 seconds charge up speed. Hence the fire rate is only 0.5 bullets per second. And I think honestly that's a lie. It shoots even slower than that. The mag size pretty solid, 6 bullet magazine, and it consumes 3 per shot, so you're essentially getting 2 shots out of it. But then if you got some bonus on your pearl or any artifact you use, then you could get a little bit more. And if you're using Mo's, that's constantly being refreshed, so you barely have to reload, which is fantastic. Reload time, it's a rocket launch. It's going to take a minute. It takes 4 seconds on average. 3.8 is the fastest we have on here. And accuracy, again, I'll have some clips showing on screen for you. This thing, if you've never seen it, it originally shoots out a huge orb, and that thing will do a ton of damage. But the way to use it is shoot above people's heads, because it is a bit like the Scourge, which is another rocket launcher in this game that was hugely the meta at the very start. It's kind of been phased out pretty much by this rocket launcher, just replacing it. It has a whole bunch of projectiles that spin around the original orb, and as it floats in its direction, it will home out, and those smaller projectiles will seek enemies, like actually tracking enemies, and destroy pretty much everything. So the main objective is don't try and hit something with a huge orb, just let all the little projectiles do the work. For example, on the bridge on Melee 1 takedown, or even the Guardian takedown, just shoot it above all the enemies, and all those projectiles are just going to seek out enemies and destroy everything, which makes it pretty much the best rocket launcher in the game, or if not top 2. But yeah, hopefully those clips did it justice. This thing is tank. The Freeman, not absolutely amazing, but I'd say it's actually worth checking out. It was a ton of fun just being able to spam rockets and using that cool tracking ability as a fun gimmick. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, don't forget to smash subscribe down below. That'd be amazing. If you want to help me out even more, you can smash like. Feel free to leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions for the rocket launchers or for a different build, video, etc. Let me know down below. Other than that, I have a Twitch, I have a Twitter, I have a Discord. That's all linked down in the description as well, or just the pinned top comment. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I shall see you guys next video and a live stream. Till then, adios.